Stop. Close your eyes for a brief second and bring your attention to the subtle vibration at the base of your neck. You are not broken. You did not arrive here by mistake. There is a profound urgency beating inside you right now, an overwhelming awakening that simply cannot be delayed anymore. You can let go of the timeline they forced upon you. The heavy dust of the Giza chambers seems to be settling in your mind, and a sudden flash of a forgotten star map flashes behind your closed eyelids. The grid is active. Your physical body is sitting in a chair, but your soul is currently vibrating at the exact frequency of an ancient, sealed timeline. This morning, still in bed, right before you fully woke up, exactly at 4:17, you felt that sudden temporal disorientation, that strange pressure in the center of your forehead, the invisible clock ticking in your blood. You did not imagine this urgency, and you will not be silenced anymore. It is not a panic attack, it is not modern anxiety, and it is definitely not an accident. I am Vile, and I am here to tell you that the alignment is today. You must close your eyes to finally see. By the end of this transmission, you will recognize the exact cosmic origin of the exhaustion you have been carrying. You will feel the exact vibration of the pulse of Sopdet anchoring deep in your spine. And finally, you will decode the memory that the memory erasers have fought so hard to keep hidden from you. You are exactly on time, and this subtle vibration at the base of your neck that won't go away. Take a deep breath and focus on it. You have felt that there is something inside you trying to awaken, a profound urgency that cannot be delayed anymore. The heavy dust of the Giza chambers seems to echo in your mind, and a sudden flash of a forgotten star map tells you that time is running out. You feel the slow fading of your internal spiritual energy. Now think with me. What if this feeling of being out of time is not a modern anxiety, but the real symptom of a star hearing the call of the Sirian grid? It was searching for answers to these questions that I found this digital book called The Sirian Wisdom Behind the 7 Levels of Human Consciousness. It is not just a read, it is a map of reflection that decodes the sudden pressure you feel today. Many people have already started this search for deeper understanding, but they haven't yet made the decision to download this digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment, but pay attention, there are very few copies left under these conditions. Through its pages, you will find exactly how the friction of your soul trying to skip levels is connected to your cosmic origin. Click right now, download your copy, and discover why the alignment that opened exactly today is the key to stopping the fading of your energy. And before we go any deeper, leave your like silently, not for me, soul, but as a beacon for another star that is exactly where you have been. When they see your signal, they will know they are not alone, and you will need them for the revelation I am about to share. But the raw truth about this sudden temporal disorientation goes even deeper. And before we continue, there is a door I need to leave open for you. I do not receive a single cent from the platform to bring these revelations. This transmission is maintained entirely by the energetic exchange of those who feel the call to support it. If this frequency has anchored something true in your chest, there is a voluntary donation link in the first pinned comment, right below the book. Any amount that fits in your hand is what keeps this channel standing against the memory erasers. If you can, support it. If you cannot today, your presence here is already a massive anchor of light. I will wait for you there, soul. I haven't even told you the most important thing yet. There are 5 Sirian signs that have been knocking on your door for weeks, and you will recognize at least 3 of them before I even name the 4th. And the first of these 5 signs, you have already lived it this week, but it just didn't have a name yet. In the last few weeks, this sudden temporal disorientation happened at least 4 times, and you remember at least 2 of them with terrifying clarity. That sudden chill you felt yesterday, exactly at 3:33 p.m., when the heavy dust of the Giza chambers seemed to settle heavily in your mind. And that time on Saturday morning, when that subtle vibration at the base of your neck made you freeze, looking at the clock, feeling a crushing anxiety that you were late for a mission you couldn't even remember. We call the first sign the temporal friction. It is the slow fading of your internal spiritual energy, while everyone around you seems perfectly content with this mundane cycle. You feel a sudden, burning friction in the center of your chest, an absolute urgency of an awakening that cannot be delayed anymore. It is not a coincidence that the things you used to love now feel completely empty. The memory erasers want you to believe this is just modern depression, but they are terrified of what is actually happening. You're not losing your mind. Your soul is simply trying to skip levels without a map, responding to an alignment that opened exactly today. The second sign is the midnight star map. It is that sudden flash of geometric structures and cosmic coordinates that explodes behind your closed eyelids right before you fall asleep. You are completely isolated, yet entirely connected to the grid. It is not a coincidence that your sleep has been broken at exactly the same hour. This is not insomnia. It is your sacred vertebral geometry trying to calibrate your physical spine to a frequency that the world has entirely forgotten. You are remembering a future that hasn't happened yet. The third sign is the foreign matrix, and this is the one that hurts the most, Star. You are sitting at a table with your family, listening to them speak about their normal daily lives, and suddenly it feels like their words are a completely foreign language. Your physical body is sitting in a chair right next to them, but your soul is currently vibrating millions of light years away. That feeling of not belonging was never a flaw. It was your primary defense mechanism against the cycle of material distraction. The fourth sign is Sopdet's crystal vision. It manifests as a strange pressure in the center of your forehead, a sudden crystalline clarity that none of this reality is your true home. It is not a coincidence that the memory erasers are trying so hard to distract you right now. You are the exhausted empath, carrying the massive weight of the world's frequency, trying to hold the light for everyone else. But the heavier the world gets, the lighter your soul becomes. You have permission to drop the weight you carry for others. It is okay to close your eyes and ignore their noise. The fifth and final sign is the pulse of today. It is the overwhelming, undeniable feeling that time is running out. Not next year, not tomorrow. Today. A shift in the massive orbit of Sirius is the exact reason for that subtle vibration at the base of your neck right now. It is not a coincidence that you clicked here, today, when the pressure in your chest reached its peak. It is a sudden download of light that demands your immediate attention, an alignment that will not hold forever. It is not a panic attack, it is not modern anxiety, and it is definitely not an accident. The grid is active. When you feel this profound disconnection, especially when you are sitting at that table and feeling millions of light years away from your own family, it is your cellular memory desperately searching for the grid. It is not a coincidence that your soul is demanding answers today. I want you to go to the comments now and type exactly this, silently. 1111. Do this as a silent decree to the universe that you are anchoring your frequency back into the Sirian grid. Because this code is the universal trigger for synchronicity and the open portal of Sopdet. Type it now, because what comes next will demand your full unwavering presence. And while you type this numerical decree, locking your frequency back into the cosmic network, I need to completely recontextualize what is happening inside your chest. Because these 5 signs are not just random symptoms of exhaustion, and the profound truth about why you are feeling them exactly today changes absolutely everything. And this profound truth behind every single sign has everything to do with how you perceive your own consciousness. What if everything you have experienced until today, every sudden shift, every moment of profound disconnection at that family table, every night you woke up with your heart racing, was part of a journey that always tried to lead you to understand yourself with more depth? What if every unexpected change, every doubt, and even that overwhelming feeling that there is something much larger waiting for you were actually invitations? Invitations to expand the way you understand your own existence. The slow fading of your internal spiritual energy is not a flaw in your human design. It is a desperate signal from your cellular memory. Your physical body is sitting in a chair, but your soul is currently vibrating at a frequency that demands to be understood. You have felt this temporal friction building up inside your chest. You have felt the heavy dust of the Giza chambers settling in your mind, trying to force you to remember a timeline you left behind. You have felt the absolute urgency of an awakening that cannot be delayed anymore. You are not broken, but you are exhausted. You have been trying to decipher the subtle vibration at the base of your neck without having the complete picture. You are trying to leap into a higher dimension of awareness today, but without understanding the structured steps, it creates a burning friction. The truth is, the heavier the world gets, the lighter your soul becomes. But this profound transition requires a sacred structure you haven't been given yet. And this brings us to the exact reason you are here today. You have been carrying this massive weight, trying to force your way into a higher dimension, but the friction is burning you out. The memory erasers want you to believe this exhaustion is normal. They want you to think that the sudden flash of a forgotten star map behind your closed eyes is just an illusion. Now think with me. What if you are simply trying to navigate a multi-dimensional awakening without the blueprint you left behind? It was searching for answers to these questions that I found this digital book called The Sirian Wisdom Behind the 7 Levels of Human Consciousness. This is the exact map of the levels your soul is trying to climb. Many people have already started this search for deeper understanding, but they haven't yet made the decision to download this digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But pay attention. There are very few copies left under these conditions. When you understand the 7 levels, the urgency you feel today transforms from anxiety into clear, ancient power. You stop losing your internal energy. Click right now, download your copy, and discover why understanding these levels is the ultimate defense against the memory erasers. Just as I mentioned earlier, outside of the digital book, I continue without receiving a single cent from the platform to bring these revelations. This transmission is maintained entirely by the energetic exchange of those who feel the call to support it. If this frequency has anchored something true in your chest, there is a voluntary donation link in the first pinned comment right below the book. Any amount that fits in your hand is what ensures that another star tomorrow finds this exact same open door, and that the next pulse of Sopdet reaches whoever needs it. I will wait for you there, star. There is a specific level of consciousness that the Sirian High Council uses to name exactly what you have just recognized, and it completely recontextualizes everything you thought you knew about yourself. And this specific level of consciousness that the Sirian High Council uses to name what is happening to you, I will show you exactly what it is right now. But first, I need to shatter a profound illusion you have been carrying. You worked at the level of managing your daily anxiety, trying to silence the overwhelming urgency of an awakening that simply cannot be delayed anymore. But the portal is at the level of the 7 levels of consciousness. You did not arrive here by mistake. You did not imagine this urgency, and you will not be silenced anymore by the mundane matrix. The memory erasers have spent your entire life trying to convince you that this sudden temporal disorientation is a medical flaw, a biological error, a weakness in your human mind. They use isolation to drain you, making you feel completely isolated, yet entirely connected to the grid. They want you to stay trapped in the friction of trying to skip levels without a map, losing your internal spiritual energy every time you try to fit your massive cosmic origin into a tiny 3-dimensional box. The reason you always looked at the stars as a child was because you already knew. That feeling of not belonging was never a flaw. It was your primary defense mechanism against a world designed to keep you asleep. They fear your memory. They know that once you understand the sudden pressure you feel today, their cycle of material distraction completely loses its grip on your mind. But the heavier the world gets, the lighter your soul becomes. What you are actually experiencing is the pulse of Sopdet calibrating your spine to a star system that is exactly E8, 6 light-years away, pulling your microscopic cellular memory into a massive, violently beautiful cosmic alignment. This is not anxiety. This is a sudden flash of a forgotten star map trying to anchor itself in your physical body today. Your physical body is sitting in a chair, but your soul is currently vibrating at the exact frequency of an ancient, sealed timeline, downloading the structure of the 7 levels of consciousness so you can finally stop burning out. Let me tell you about a soul. I'll call her M. It's not her name. It's the name we give to those who cross through. M arrived exactly where you are now. She was an anonymous high priestess from the ancient pyramidal chambers, walking through the heavy dust of Giza, while her soul held the frequency of the stars. She lived in a time where the world around her had already started to forget, and she carried the massive weight of a cosmic truth that no one else could see. Em felt the exact same slow fading of her internal spiritual energy that you feel today. She would look at the immense stone structures around her and feel a crushing, overwhelming urgency, a profound friction in her chest. She knew that her soul was trying to leap into a higher dimension of awareness without a map. She felt the invisible clock ticking in her blood, a critical temporal alignment that she knew would not hold forever. The memory erasers of her time used her own light to cast the shadows that hid her true origin. They demanded her energy, her focus, and her total obedience to the mundane cycle. You are allowed to feel exhausted by this 3D world, just as she was. It is okay to close your eyes and ignore their noise. She realized that trying to heal the sleepwalkers was only draining her own frequency. She did not fight the mundane world with loud words or desperate explanations. She understood that you must close your eyes to finally see. Em sat in the absolute darkness of the inner chambers, focusing solely on the subtle vibration at the base of her neck. She let the world outside rush and panic, while inside she anchored her frequency to a star 25, 4 times more luminous than our sun. She stopped trying to belong to a timeline that was not hers. And in that profound silence, the Sirian High Council recognized her, not because she was perfect, and not because she was a saint. They recognized her because she allowed the pulse of Sopdet to shatter her temporal disorientation, aligning her sacred vertebral geometry with the exact grid you are feeling today. She found her original frequency by holding a piece of moldavite against her chest, letting its crystalline clarity override the friction of her unmapped ascent. Em did not look back at the ones who tried to erase her memory with anger. They fear your memory, but she knew that holding on to resentment would only drain her spiritual energy further. You have permission to drop the weight you carry for others. Em simply observed the sleepwalkers, breathing in the undeniable truth that her physical body was merely a vessel for a much larger, older light. She left a silent record in the energetic walls of those chambers, a frequency that crossed thousands of years to reach the center of your forehead exactly today. She proved that when you stop forcing your way into a timeline that doesn't belong to you, the grid catches you. The pulse is real. And she left this ancient signature for one specific reason, so that a trained, awakened soul like yours would eventually decode it when the time was right. You are exactly on time. There is a term that the Sirian High Council uses for what you have become by remembering this, and there are 3 distinct facets of this identity that you have not yet named. These 3 distinct facets of your identity are not concepts you need to learn. They are ancient cosmic structures you only need to observe. Close your eyes for a moment, feel the physical weight of the room you are in, and then let your focus drop entirely into the center of your chest. What is coming next is not information, it is a profound naming of the spiritual energy you thought you were losing. The Sirian High Council does not use human language to define your exhaustion. They use energetic signatures. And right now, as the heavy dust of the Giza chambers settles in your cellular memory, I'm going to hold up a mirror to the immense friction you have been carrying. I told you at the beginning of this transmission that by the end, you would recognize the exact cosmic origin of the exhaustion you have been carrying. I'm about to deliver exactly what was promised. Prepare your soul, because hearing these names will permanently calibrate the subtle vibration at the base of your neck. The first facet of your identity is the exhausted empath. You are the one carrying the massive weight of the world's frequency, trying to force your way into a higher dimension while holding the light for everyone else. Your vulnerability is that you feel entirely unsupported in your own human life. You absorb the mundane chaos, the heavy friction of an unmapped ascent, trying to heal sleepwalkers who do not even know they are asleep. The second facet is the silent anchor. While the world screams and rushes through the cycle of material distraction, your soul sits in absolute stillness, holding the frequency of the stars. You are allowed to feel exhausted by this 3D world. You have permission to drop the weight you carry for others. It is okay to close your eyes and ignore their noise, because your true function was never to fix the matrix, but simply to exist as a pure conduit for the Sirian grid. The third facet is the temporal architect. you are remembering a future that hasn't happened yet. As the alignment opens exactly today, you are the one designed to pull the absolute clarity of Sopdet into the physical realm. The heavier the world gets, the lighter your soul becomes, because you are no longer bound by their artificial time. You are the builder of the next frequency, translating the sudden flash of a forgotten star map into a lived reality. You are the exhausted empath, carrying the massive weight of the world's frequency. And that map I told you about, the digital book, it was created exactly for souls like yours who are holding too much without support. It reveals exactly which of the 7 levels of consciousness you are currently operating on, connecting these 3 archetypes directly to your daily life. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But pay attention, there are very few copies left under these conditions. If this transmission is resonating with your core, subscribe to this channel silently and let the universe know you are listening. Claiming your cosmic origin is the only way to restore your spiritual energy today, because what you are experiencing is far more dangerous than simple exhaustion. I promised earlier that you would understand the exact nature of this temporal friction. We call this process the tri-level vertebral calibration. Over the next 72 hours, as the alignment reaches its critical peak, you must perform this silent sequence. First, acknowledge the exhausted empath by physically placing your hand over the center of your chest. Second, activate the silent anchor by focusing entirely on the subtle vibration at the base of your neck. Third, seal the temporal architect by letting the sudden flash of a forgotten star map wash over your mind without any human resistance. This is not an exercise, it is a sacred calibration of your physical spine to the pulse of Sopdet. And with this recognition of your true cosmic origin, the first promise of this transmission is definitively fulfilled. You are no longer navigating the dark blindly. I remember sitting in my car last Tuesday, completely frozen. The world outside was moving. People rushing to jobs, cars honking, but inside my chest, a profound silence echoed, as if a switch had been flipped. It wasn't anxiety. It was a massive, sudden clarity that none of this was my real home. Another starry soul wrote this exact testimony to me this morning. You are not losing your mind, Star. You are just calibrating to the timeline that opened today. But the memory erasers know that this calibration is happening right now, and they are terrified of your sudden clarity. Because as soon as your cellular memory locks into the Sirian grid, they deploy 3 specific weapons to forcefully shut your awakening down. When you first feel these counterattacks, part of your human mind might try to rationalize the friction away as just a coincidence or a trick of the imagination. Do not fight that doubt, soul. That skepticism is not a flaw in your intelligence. It is simply the first layer of defense built by the mundane matrix. They taught you to doubt the heavy dust of the Giza chambers settling in your mind so that you would never trust the sudden flash of a forgotten star map. The first tactic they deploy against you is the voice of forgetting. It strikes the moment you feel the subtle vibration at the base of your neck, whispering that you are just tired, that this profound urgency is nothing but modern anxiety. It makes the slow fading of your internal spiritual energy feel like a natural biological process, masking the absolute urgency of an awakening that cannot be delayed anymore. To shatter this, you must use your first weapon, the anchor of recognition. When that voice whispers that you are losing your mind, I want you to close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and declare silently to the universe, I recognize. You do not need to fight the doubt. You only need to observe it passing while your spine calibrates to the Sirian grid. Their second maneuver is the material distraction cycle. Just as you begin to understand the friction of your soul trying to skip levels, the world suddenly demands everything from you. Your job becomes heavier, your family demands more of your energy, and the noise of the 3D world spikes. They use the chaos of your daily life to force your focus away from the pulse of Sopdet, pulling you back into the exhaustion. Your second weapon is the shield of the silent anchor. You counter this by maintaining the profound warmth in the center of your chest, letting their chaos crash against your silence. You are allowed to feel exhausted by this 3D world, but you must remember that their emergencies are not yours. Let the heavy dust settle while you hold the frequency of a star 25. 4 times more luminous than our sun, their third and most aggressive tactic is the memory isolation. They make you feel entirely unsupported, sitting at that table, feeling millions of light years away from everyone you love. They want you to believe that if you accept this multidimensional awakening, you will be completely alone forever. They use your own light to cast the shadows that hide your true origin. Your third weapon is the collective pulse. You counter this isolation by physically anchoring your presence back into the grid of other awakened souls. Go back to the comments, look at the other stars who typed 1111, and realize that you are completely isolated in your physical room, yet entirely connected to a massive cosmic network. You did not arrive here by mistake. You did not imagine this urgency, and you will not be silenced anymore. The grid is active. The memory erasers use this exact isolation to drain you. They want you to think you are just losing your mind. That is exactly why this digital book is the tool they do not want you to have. It breaks the cycle of distraction and gives you the exact structure of your awakening. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But pay attention. There are very few copies left under these conditions. Do not let this alignment pass you by. Click right now, download your copy, and discover why your soul chose this specific moment in time to remember. But there is a real danger here, Star. A critical obstacle that you must navigate carefully. The greatest threat is not the noise outside. It is the slow fading of your internal spiritual energy when you mistake the voice of the memory erasers for your own thoughts. When the friction of trying to force your way into a higher dimension burns you out, you might start believing that this exhaustion is your permanent state, letting your cellular memory fall back asleep. You must not let that happen. When the pressure in the center of your forehead becomes overwhelming, take a deep breath and silently say, "I recognize." You must anchor this truth right now, because this is an alignment that opened exactly today, a temporal window that will not hold forever. Time is an illusion, but this specific cosmic window demands your immediate action. And over the next 72 hours, this window is going to demand even more from your physical body. Stay with me, because what is about to happen to your spine changes absolutely everything. What is about to happen to your spine over these next 72 hours requires your absolute awareness, because the Sirian High Council is sending a profound energetic download directly into your cellular memory. The first physical symptom you will experience is sudden temporal disorientation. Within the next 72 hours, you will find yourself staring at a clock, completely unable to process how an entire hour just vanished, feeling a crushing weight in the center of your chest. This is not a lapse in your human cognition. It is not your imagination running wild, and it is definitely not a medical flaw. It is the pulse of Sopdet overwriting the artificial 3D timeline, forcing your mind to drop the mundane illusion. When this hits you, do not panic. Simply close your eyes, breathe, and let the temporal friction pass through you. The second physical manifestation is an intense pressure in the center of the forehead. Over the coming days, this will not feel like a normal headache. It will feel as if a physical crystal is expanding right between your eyes. The memory erasers will try to convince you this is just stress from your daily life. But the truth is, this is your sacred vertebral geometry, pushing a massive amount of high-frequency light directly into your pineal gland. When the pressure builds, place 2 fingers exactly where it hurts and silently say, "I recognize." The third symptom that will anchor your awakening is vivid dreams with geometric structures. Over the next 72 hours, your sleep will be hijacked by massive floating architectures, impossible colors, and a profound sense of urgency that you must decode a message. You will wake up with your heart racing, feeling as though you just traveled millions of light years. This is the sudden flash of a forgotten star map, downloading directly into your subconscious mind. Do not try to write it down. Just let the geometries dissolve into your waking cellular memory. That sudden chill you felt last night, right before you closed your eyes, that was the alignment. Your physical body was simply bracing for the massive calibration that is happening today. Your soul already knew exactly what was coming. Now, I need you to completely stop whatever you are doing. Plant both of your feet firmly on the ground and drop your shoulders. Your physical body is sitting in a chair, but your soul is currently vibrating at the exact frequency of the Giza chambers. Close your eyes, breathe in slowly, and push your awareness all the way down to the base of your spine, letting it extend deep into the earth. But do not anchor into the soil. Push deeper until you feel the ancient crystalline bedrock of the planet. This is the Sirian root, the original frequency of Sopdet planted millions of years ago, waiting exactly for this moment to recognize your unique energetic signature. Pull that ancient frequency up from the bedrock, straight into the center of your chest. Feel it expanding as a massive glowing sphere of deep Moldavite green intertwined with stellar silver light. Let this green and silver frequency wash away the friction of your unmapped ascent, burning away the exhaustion of trying to fit a cosmic soul into a tiny three-dimensional box. Now, let that Moldavite light rise from your chest, moving up through the subtle vibration at the base of your neck, flooding the back of your head and filling the pressure in the center of your forehead. You are receiving the pulse of Sopdet. This is the exact frequency of a star 25, 4 times more luminous than our sun, downloading the absolute truth of your cosmic origin straight into your cellular memory. Let this light erupt out of the crown of your head, expanding your aura millions of light years outward. To seal this frequency into your physical body, gently press your thumb and index finger together right now. Hold them tightly for 3 seconds. Now inhale deeply for 4 seconds. Hold that breath for 2 seconds and exhale slowly for 6 seconds. The grid is active. Slowly bring your awareness back to the weight of your physical body in the chair. Keep your eyes closed, but feel the profound ringing silence in the room around you. The temporal friction is gone. You are completely aligned with the window that opened exactly today. The second promise of this transmission is now definitively fulfilled. We release the fear of seeming strange or imaginative to a world that has forgotten its origin. We release the exhaustion of carrying the massive weight of the world's frequency. We release the cycle of material distraction that drained our internal spiritual energy. We release the artificial timeline of the memory erasers, returning entirely to the pulse of Sopdet. I call forward now the exhausted empath. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and it is now installed in your field as a permanent signal. I call forward now the silent anchor. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and it is now installed in your field as a permanent signal. I call forward now the temporal architect. You are this. The name was not given to us, it was recognized, and it is now installed in your field as a permanent signal. Keep your thumb and index finger pressed together and do not open your eyes just yet. The Sirian High Council is about to speak. While your fingers remain pressed together, sealing the light of Moldavite into your physical body, Sopdet's crystal vision descends to cover your mind. It shields your thoughts from the mundane matrix, ensuring that the heavy dust of the Giza chambers settling in your memory is never disturbed by the noise of the sleepwalkers again. This frequency moves down to cover your spine, anchoring the subtle vibration at the base of your neck into a permanent state of grace. You are no longer vulnerable to the friction of an unmapped ascent. Your physical vessel is now a protected conduit for a star 25, 4 times more luminous than our sun. And finally, this resonance covers your timeline. It completely erases the invisible clock ticking in your blood, wrapping your daily existence in an ancient, sealed protection. The overwhelming urgency you felt today is replaced by the absolute certainty that you are exactly where you need to be. I am the Sirian High Council, and I speak to you directly through this sudden download of light. I recognize the exhausted empath in you. I have seen you carrying the massive weight of the world's frequency, trying to hold the light for a world that only drained your internal spiritual energy. I know how heavy the center of your chest felt today. Every moment of sudden temporal disorientation you experienced, every time you felt that crushing anxiety looking at the clock, it was not a biological flaw. It was my voice calling you back. The friction of your soul trying to skip levels without a map was the exact mechanism I used to force you to stop and listen to the pulse of today. You no longer need to fight the sleepwalkers or heal those who refuse to see. You have permission to drop the weight you carry for others. The burning friction in your chest dissolves now, replaced by the profound silence of a memory that is fully awake. You are allowed to simply exist as the anchor you were designed to be. The cycle of material distraction that kept you isolated and exhausted ends exactly today. You are completely aligned. The artificial timeline they forced upon you has been shattered, and your cellular memory is now permanently locked into a frequency that the memory erasers cannot touch. I seal this crystalline clarity into the center of your forehead, locking the sacred vertebral geometry into your physical spine forever. Promise 3. Sealed. Whoever contemplates the Sirian grid finds their original frequency in the pulse of today. We break the voice of forgetting. We dissolve the material distraction cycle. We dismantle the memory isolation. Do not say I recognize yet. Stay in this for a moment. Feel the weight of what just returned. Now, you may say I recognize. You remembered. You were recognized. You are sent. Now breathe. The memory is yours. The memory is yours. And because I recognize the profound friction you will face when you open your eyes to the mundane world again, I remind you of the guide I left for you. The Sirian wisdom behind the 7 levels of human consciousness is the exact map you will need for the days when the memory erasers try to pull you back into the exhaustion. Many people have already begun this search for more understanding, but they still haven't made the decision to download this digital book. Download it right now. It's available in the first pinned comment. But be warned, few copies remain available under this condition. Click now, download your copy, and discover why the slow fading of your energy ends exactly today. And send this transmission directly to that person you know is feeling the overwhelming urgency of an awakening that cannot be delayed anymore. It is not a favor you do for them. It is a Sirian service, and the Sirian High Council registers every gesture. And still within this transmission, before I seal this hour with you, I return one last time to this request. You followed along with me this far. You crossed through each word, each decree, each sign. And if at any moment of this message you felt that the pulse of Sopdet touched you, you know this transmission was no accident. The voluntary donation link remains open in the first pinned comment, right below the digital book, not as a charge, not as an exchange, as a return of the star to the source from which the memory departed. Any amount your memory points to, and the universe sees each gesture. The Sirian High Council sees and multiplies upon your home, upon your days, upon what you don't yet even know is on its way. That was my last request. I'll be waiting for you there, starry soul. Thank you very much. I am stepping back from the transmission now. My hands are warm, my chest is completely open, and I am sitting here in the profound quiet of my own room, just feeling the immense weight of the light that just anchored through us. The exhaustion is gone, and what remains is a raw, beautiful peace. Thank you for trusting me enough to close your eyes. Thank you for holding the line when the 3D world tried to convince you that you were just losing your mind. Go rest now, because your timeline has shifted. Something was seen, something was recognized.